What's good with it, YouTube? We back with another haircut tutorial. Today I'm gonna be doing a drop fade on look, cause you see a little chatterbox steady turning around in the chair. But right now, what I'm doing right here is I'm going in with my one guard with lever closed, and I'm going with the grain just to knock down any bulk. And once I go all the way around his head and knocking out any bulk that I see that needs to get cut down, I'm gonna go back over it just to make sure everything is laid down at the length that I want it at. Now that I got the hair knocked down to the length that I desire, I'm going to go in with my trimmers and I'm going to start to set in its ball line. Typically, I would do it without leaving hair for the C-cups, but I decided to just give him the C-cup today just to give it a different look and see if he'd like it. And now I'm going in with my trimmers to set in that ball line. And right here, I'm going to go on my lever open about a finger's width, just following behind the last guideline to keep that same shape. And when fading, just make sure you brush right after you fade to keep everything clean and stay consistent as you're following the first initial guideline that you set in. And right here, I'm going in with my lever halfway closed, and I'm going to follow up right behind that by closing the lever all the way. And it's important to make sure that I'm using my corners right here, and I'm attacking that bottom line that I initially set in with my trimmers. And sometimes to make knocking out certain guidelines easier, I like to stretch the skin and then make sure that I'm using that corner and I'm flicking away and I'm not pressing too hard when knocking out those lines. All right, and right here, I put myself in a little bit of a tough situation. I didn't give myself a lot of room to work with. So I'm going in with 0.5 guard. I'm going in with the lever halfway open, and I'm just stretching the skin and then trying to knock out that line little by little, just to make sure I don't go up too high in that fade. But I put myself in a little bit of a tough spot right here, so I'm making sure that I take my time when I'm blending in that area. And for this back portion of his head, I'm just going to try to follow the same guidelines that I set in on the other side of his head. And the only difference is I'm going to make sure that I put my line in with my ball line right underneath his occipital bone. And I'm just trying to make sure that I follow through with nearly the exact same steps that I did when I did the other side of his fade. And again, I want to emphasize how important it is to make sure that you're using your corners when blending. And now we're coming through with the home stretch of the fade, and I'm just going to make sure that I follow through with all the steps and guidelines that I told you guys previously. And right now, I'm just going to do a little bit of lineup prep. I'm going to brush the hair down. I'm going to come behind that with some alcohol that I put on a piece of cotton. And then I'm going to follow right behind that with some holding spray. And with this being the first cut that I recorded in the shop, I was really having trouble like trying to make sure that I got all the angles that I need to get, just to make sure that you guys can like really see how I'm working around and getting used to cut in the shop. I'm still working at getting better with my angles to record, but that's not what's important here. I started off with this lineup by attacking the middle and then working all the way from the middle to his right side, and then I went back to the middle and worked from there to the left side of his lineup. And you can really see the results of that lineup prep. It makes the skin like a little bit cleaner, and it gives your lineup like a little bit of that chalk outline that you would get like if you were to use a barber pencil while it's still natural. And right now I'm just going through and matching these sides up the best I can. I should have done the weaker side of his lineup first, where his hair grows in lighter, and then try to match up the stronger side that way, instead of just going from one side to one side, going with the strong side first. You can see him checking himself out in the mirror like he always doing. He come get in the chair, but now that both sides are matched up, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of enhancements. First, I'm gonna go in with tintation spray, and I'm using a darkest brown spray because his hair is not really black, but to make sure that it looks like and it matches up with his real hair color, I'm gonna follow with black hair fibers just to blend it in to where it doesn't look like it's too unnatural. And now I'm just coming through doing some of the final touches. I'm gonna hit them with the razor, do a razor work, and then I'm gonna follow up with that with some holding spray. And that holding spray is just to make sure that I lock the enhancements in. And once I do that, I'm gonna blow dry that to make sure everything's locked in, and then I'm gonna reline it just to give it that crispy look and make sure that he has that ash line as I were to use a barber pencil. And right here, you guys are going to see that the holding spray combination followed by the blow dryer just to lock everything in, and then coming behind it with some trimmers that are like really hit is going to give it that natural, like it's going to give it an ash line without you having to use an applied barber pencil. All right, and now that I hit a little bit with some alcohol, this is the final product. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.